And here we go on this first day of spring. It is March 20th, I believe, 2023. 6 o'clock straight up, which means it's time for Real Talk Memphis. Glad to have you with us. I am your humble host, Chip Washington. The gang is all here as well this evening, fired up and ready to go. Many people say, happy spring because it's the first day of spring. For me, it is a happy allergy day because I have really bad allergies this time of year, as many of us do, and we'll have to, kind of suffer through and deal with that. Of course, as we move through the course of time. I'm trying to decide whether or not, because I cut my grass every year, I cut it, and I'm getting a little tired of cutting it, and I'm trying to decide whether I want somebody else to do it, or me get out there and continue to do it. That's still a debate in my head right now. It's about 60-40 against. So we'll see how it all shakes out. Welcome again to the big broadcast, and we have a good show for you tonight. We're going to talk about a few things this evening, but before we get into all of that, many of you ask continually, how do I get this fine piece of radio broadcasting called Real Talk Memphis? Well, you can do it in many ways. We are on live right now on 91.7 on your FM dial. That will be WYXR. You can also catch us on the WYXR app. We are on TuneIn. You can go to TuneIn and put WYXR in the search, and we'll pop up. We do this little thing called Facebook Live, and we are on YouTube when the show posts on Tuesday. And speaking of, as we are a podcast, when the show posts on Tuesday afternoon, you can get us wherever it is you get your podcast. Now, there's nothing like live. We're on live right now. But if you happen to miss it, and you have a legitimate excuse for doing so, you can always catch us anytime, as I said, either on Facebook Live, on my page, or when the podcast drops tomorrow afternoon. In terms of our guest this evening, we have three good ones, I think. LaDell Beamon is a young man. I would say he's a youth activist is what I'd call him. And, he really does a lot of things in support of our young folks. And God knows these days our young folks need all the help and support that they can get. So he's going to join me this evening and let me know kind of what he's up to in his organization called Heal the Hood Foundation. There was a big youth town hall meeting on Saturday, sponsored by Justin Hart and NLE Choppa, the young rapper. And so I want to ask him about that. He was a participant in that as well. Ike Griffith, our good friend from the city of Memphis, joins me in just a few minutes. There's a big hiring. You looking for a job? The city of Memphis is having a big hiring event this Friday. It's called the Career and Technical Expo. And Ike is going to tell us all about it. You can go. There will be many vendors there, many businesses there looking to hire. And some of them may even hire on the spot. So I'll let Ike talk to us about all of that in just a few minutes. And in case you were not aware, this is colorectal or colon cancer awareness month, this month of March. And we are going to talk a little bit about that with a colorectal surgeon. His name is Dr. Paul Johnson from the Methodist Cancer Institute. And he will tell us, why, in case you didn't notice or know this, colon cancer is the number 2 killer in this country. So getting tested and getting checked out is a very, very important component of all of that. And he'll be on a little bit later to chat with us about that. But before we go on, as we always do this time of the big broadcast, we have a birthday. Lola's inching closer and closer to the microphone, so she's got one. And Nicole has one, too, a little bit later on. So, we do the shout-out right about now, right? National shout-out for your birthday today. Not a lot of birthdays today, but that's okay. We can't do any of that. If you're a regular tuner into this broadcast, we can't do any of that until I say, hit it, Brent. Happy birthday! Yeah. Happy birthday going out to Tabitha Yarborough celebrating today. Happy birthday, Mr. Mark Richard. Pamela Armour's birthday is today, as is Jay Tillman's birthday. That, believe it or not, is all I have on the official list. Lola has a birthday. Lola.
Yes, happy birthday to Miss Virginia Hannah. Happy birthday, sweetie. Also, a happy birthday to the disco queen herself, Miss Paula Rayford, on tomorrow. Happy birthday, love. And lastly, I have two more. Happy birthday to my niece, Atoya Tennille, on Wednesday, and a happy heavenly to my dad, also on Wednesday.
God bless you. That's wonderful. Thank you, Lola. You came prepared tonight with a nice list. Nicole has a birthday too. Nicole, who would you like to shout out?
Friend Ashley Lowe, I love you, my friend.
Wait, say it again, one more time.
Happy birthday to my good friend Ashley Lowe.
Ashley Lowe. Ashley Lowe? On the low. No, just low? Okay. Happy birthday to each and every person mentioned tonight. We appreciate you, and we are so happy that we shared your trip around the sun. If the Lord says so, we'll be back here next year to do the same thing all over again. Happy birthday, each and every one out there this evening. Thank you, Brand. So, the news and notes, we were talking about this before the show. A couple of deaths of note happened recently. One, the singer Bobby Caldwell. Many of you may have heard of him. He sang that one of his biggest hit was "What You Won't Do for Love." He passed away last week. And Lance Reddick. Now, you may not know his name, but you know his character. If you've been around a while, there was a TV series on HBO years ago called The Wire. He played a detective on that show, and he was very, very good. But most of you may know him from being in John Wick. He's been in all of the John Wick movies lately. You know, tall, thin, black man, bald head. As I'm talking, maybe some of you are recognizing, who he was. Well, he passed away on Friday at the age of 60. Very, very young man, but very talented individual. A lot of folks giving their tributes who worked with him in the past. So, may you both rest in peace, and may your memory always be a blessing to all of us. Now, in the news and notes, the former president of the United States, Donald Trump, made a comment that he thought that he was going to be arrested and indicted tomorrow. He made that announcement ahead of time. We don't know why he made it. We don't know, if it's true or not. Nobody's talking about this one way or another except for him. And he is asking people in this country to protest, in support of him. Now, that puts me in mind of January 6th, but a lot of those folks have been arrested, and I don't know how much interest he's garnering one way or another, whether he is indicted or he is not tomorrow. Many people feel that an indictment is imminent, and let it be known right now, if that happens, he will be the first ex-president in the history of this country ever to be indicted by a grand jury on criminal charges. This is in reference to the $130,000 payment to the former adult actress, porn star Stormy Daniels. So we will see how all of that plays out. So there are now two lawsuits that have been filed against the Shelby County Election Commission. This all has to do with residency requirements for running for mayor, city mayor. Floyd Bonner filed a lawsuit about a week and a half or so ago, and a couple of days ago, another candidate, former County Commissioner Van Turner, also filed a lawsuit. This all stems from, at one time there was a 5-year plan. You had to be in the city 5 years before you could run for local office. That was changed at some point to 1 year. And so now all of a sudden there's this debate on whether whether it's 1 year or 5 years. It would affect Sheriff Bonner, who recently moved back into the city, and also Van Turner, and former Mayor Willie Harrington is involved in this as well. So we'll watch it and we'll see what happens. I think before it's all said and done, that everybody will be able to run in this race, and you will be able to decide whomever it is you want to vote for. I want to take us back to the Tyree Nichols case. A lot of officers, I think there were 6 total that were fired. Well, there was a police lieutenant on the scene that night. His name is Dwayne Smith, 25-year veteran of the police force, showed up after the fact, after all of the violence took place, did not, in the internal investigation, did not comply to a lot of the rules and regulations that someone who's been on the force for 25 years would know, did not get a lot of information from the officers at hand. He looked at Tyree Nichols as he lay dying on the ground and said he looked like he was high. He had ingested something and he was high. He was also the officer that supposedly went to the Tyree Nichols' parents' house, the Wells household, to inform them of what had happened with their son. He told the parents that his son was pulled over and stopped for a DUI, which was not true, at all. So a lot of mistruths going on there, and he asked to see. They asked to see their son, and he would not allow them to see their son, although he was literally, just a few feet away from their front door. So anyway, he decided that the day before he was set to be terminated, he resigned. So he resigned the day before they fired him, and a lot of people are upset about that. He did get his pension and the whole 9 yards. Of course, the attorneys are saying anybody who's complicit in this crime should pay for the crime, themselves. So we don't know how that's going to shake out, but that was kind of an interesting fact. Ja Morant has sat out his 8-day suspension from the league. He is eligible to play again. They have a game tonight, they meaning the Grizzlies. He will not play tonight. But he has been cleared to play. And now let us hope that as we move forward, he has learned a lesson. And his actions will speak louder than any words he could possibly say. So we're pulling for you, Ja, and hope that, as you guys get ready for the playoffs, it's a full steam ahead. Very disappointing effort for the University of Memphis Tigers that happened on Friday night. I'm sure many of you watched. They lost a heartbreaker to Florida Atlantic 66-65. So their dream of the big dance and moving on is over, but they had a great season. And, we can just, get ready and get locked and loaded in for next year. One final note about spring. This is spring. This is the first day of spring. I read that if you are a Dairy Queen fan, you can go to Dairy Queen and get you one of those little small, those little strawberry, the vanilla cones, right? The little whipped. Is that what they whip? They kind of out of the machine. It's yeah. So anyway, you can get one of those free. I don't know why. You can get one free. Is there even a Dairy Queen in this town anymore? I think so. Is there one around? I think there's one definitely. We need to do some research on that to find out. So. Yeah, if you really you're jonesing for some vanilla ice cream, head out to Dairy Queen. All right, that takes care of the news and notes on this Monday evening. We're going to take our first break, and when we come back, we're going to talk to our good friend Ike Griffith about a big event the city is hosting on Friday. You don't want to miss it. This is Real Talk Memphis. I am Chip. Hello to you. Quick break, right back.
If you like Real Talk, here's a way you can get involved. Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
WYXR is supported by the Orpheum Theater Group, presenting Storyfest, April 13th and 14th at the Halloran Center. This 2-day festival showcases the voices of Memphians. An intergenerational group of participants from across the city have collaborated with the Orpheum to share their stories in their own words. More information at orpheum-memphis.com.
WYXR is supported by the On Stage at the Halloran Center Music and Theater Series presenting Van Duren on Saturday, April the 1st. Memphis' own rock and pop singer, songwriter, musician Van Duren takes a look back at his long musical career with a retrospective show. More information at orpheum-memphis.com.
This is Clark Ortiz with Crosstown Brewing Company. WYXR is supported by Crosstown Brewing Company's CBC Classic Golf Tournament on Saturday, April 1st at the Links at Galloway. A portion of the proceeds will benefit WYXR. More information available at crosstownbeer.com.
WYXR is supported by the On Stage at the Halloran Center 2022-2023 season, which continues in downtown Memphis. Experience live entertainment with music, magic, and more, including the return of Orchestra Unplugged and the Songwriter Series events. More information and the full lineup at orpheum-memphis.com/onstage.
At WYXR, we are committed to uplifting local organizations and businesses who are making an impact in Memphis. If you are looking for ways to spread the word about your business on air and want to support WYXR at the same time, email us at sponsorships@wyxr.org.
Get Real Talk on the TuneIn mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
And welcome back to Real Talk Memphis on this Monday evening. Very happy to have you with us, and also happy to have our first guest. He is no stranger to this broadcast or many of us in the city. He is Ike Griffith, and of course, he is the Director of Youth Services for the city of Memphis. And Ike, it is good to see you, my friend. How are you?
Doing fine, Chip. Thank you so much for having me.
Man, thank you for coming on the show. And you're always working hard for our young people out there. And this event that you have coming up on Friday, I reached out to Ike and I said, you want to come on and talk about this? Because this is a pretty big deal, particularly in light of where things are. So you guys are having a big hiring event, the city of Memphis and your office. So tell us a little bit about it and what folks can expect.
Well, Chip, I tell you, one of the main things that we were trying to do was get in front of the graduating classes of 2023. Mm-hmm. So our young people can have something to look forward to as they get their diplomas and walk across the stage. I didn't want to add on to the problem that we have with our youth, with individuals finishing high school with no sense of direction. So we came up with the Career and Technical Expo. Mm-hmm. All our children will not be going to college, and you can make a good living in a career.
Yes, sir.
Especially career and technical areas. Mm-hmm. And we're going to have over 200 vendors to be participating in this Career and Technical Expo to expose our young people of some positive opportunities that we have for them within our city. We have such companies as Blue Oval. We're going to have NASA. NASA from Huntsville now.
Okay.
We're going to have MLGNW, welding, cosmetology, dog groomers. Every career you can possibly think of in the different clusters, we're going to have representation there on Friday. And they'll be hiring on the spot. Yeah. So this is an opportunity for our high school students, our opportunity youth, college students, and adults.
So what is this sounds amazing. So what is the minimum age requirement? Because I know I think I read high school, but I also read adults as well. So what is the minimum? Was it 16, 17? What are you targeting there? Seniors or what?
17, 18, just get ready to finish high school. Okay, to get their high school diploma. Mm-hmm. When it comes to adult, it can be at any age. Even if you have been laid off from a job, there's going to be opportunities for you to talk with some of our vendors to maybe make a career change. We're just trying to reach out to as many people as we possibly can, not only from the city of Memphis, but I've also invited school districts from Mississippi and Arkansas. They will be there also.
So this is a pretty comprehensive setup you all decide you all are going to have on Friday, and you really hit on something that's important. A lot of folks always talk about college after they graduate high school. Many do, but realistically, there are many young people and even adults who may not fit the typical college mode, but trade opportunity. And you're right, you can get paid a lot of money. I mean, people, depending on the trade, you get paid more than people with college degrees. Am I correct?
True. And one thing, Chip, many of our students that may be college materials, they're not going to college because it's so expensive. Then it's hard for them to get a job in their major that they majored in for 4 years.
Yeah.
So this is another positive alternative for our young people to look into and make a decent living.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we talk about AI, but I've yet to see a machine that would cut hair, curl hair.
Yeah.
I've yet to see a machine that would lay bricks, or see a machine that can do welding, or do plumbing, or electricity. So there are a lot of trades and careers that you can go into and make a decent living.
One of the things that we hear a lot, and we hear it every year, and I know you do too, is, these kids don't have a lot to do during the summertime hours, and during the summer period. But I know you guys are working very hard to try to change that and shift that paradigm a little bit. Talk a little bit about really the jobs, job opportunities and job programs for a lot of our youth out there.
Well, every summer we're going to have our summer program through the Employed program and the MAP program.
Right.
And we continue to do that. We had our registration back in December. We had our lottery. We're going to be servicing about 2,500 kids this summer. But this was another opportunity for those individuals who did not get a chance to register, who did not get a chance to be chosen in the MAP program and the Employed program, especially if you're a senior. Chip, we're losing too many of our young people, number one.
True.
And they're getting younger every day and committed to negativities that we see and hear about in our community. And this is a grand opportunity for our young people to embrace some of the positive opportunities that we have within our city. And I'm hoping that our parents that's out there will make our children do some things we don't need to give our children choices on.
Yeah.
Number one.
Yeah.
We need to make them do. And it's so very important that parents get involved, make their children take advantage of opportunities in front of them. Because parents won't be with our children always, and children need to know that. And for a parent to see their child in the right direction is top priority and taking advantage of it.
And I echo your sentiments completely and totally. Before I let you go, what's important here in terms of what happens Friday is not only the opportunity, but the presentation that these young people or these folks who are coming to meet with potential, employers should look like. Tell us how you think these folks should set themselves up, when you're walking into an environment where there could be a job on the table.
Well, come looking the part as if you want a job, okay? Business attire, a good resume that can represent you when you're not present. Once you leave that interview table, leave a resume behind that represents you just as if you was standing or sitting right in front of that interviewee.
Mm-hmm.
My biggest thing is look the part. Your first impression is the last one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Know how to present yourself, speak from the heart, ask for the opportunity that's being offered to you, and hopefully you will get it. Don't come in there sagging, baseball caps turned backwards. I mean, you have just eliminated your opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
But if you at least come looking the part, clean, neat, know how to articulate, know how to present yourself, and be respectful, you may be granted that opportunity. See, Chief, you got to understand that some of these companies will hire individuals just with a high school diploma.
Yeah.
Now, we're going to have jobs that will require college degrees and what have you, and work experience and what have you.
Mm-hmm.
But at least finishing high school, come looking the part and as if you want that opportunity to fall in your lap. And it can be done.
Absolutely, it can be done. Before I let you get out of here, give us the particulars. Where and what time is the event on Friday, and whatever folks need to know about this.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be Friday. The Career and Technical Expo will be at the Renaissance Center this Friday from 9 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
High school students.
All day. Yeah.
9 to 1 is your time frame. 9 to 1. College students, opportunity youth, and adults. You will be there from 1 to 5. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
9 to 1 is for our high schools because I know buses got to take our children back to school after the event.
Sure.
So keep in mind that not only Memphis Shelby County schools, but schools from Mississippi and Arkansas will be present. They will be bussed in.
Okay.
So we really want to get them out of the way so they can go back to their respective school for dismissal. But from 1 to 5, college students, opportunity youth, and adults. So we're all excited about this opportunity.
Yeah.
We're elated to give this opportunity. As I always say, youth in this city is priority for Mayor Jim Strickland, and just take advantage of the opportunity that's being given.
Ike Griffith, ladies and gentlemen, Director of Youth Services for the City of Memphis. And look, if you are looking for a job and you're serious about this, they are providing you with a great opportunity. Ike, thank you, man, for coming on the show and laying it all out for us. And more importantly, thank you for what you're doing for the young people and the folks here in the city. We really appreciate that.
Well, thank you so very much. And if I can also just plug before I leave,
sure,
we'll get ready for our Golden Glove boxing tournament again this year.
Okay.
It will be the 14th and 15th at the Liberty Park Sports Complex. If you need more information, call 636-6264. Tickets are $10 in advance, $15 at the door.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you, and I look to talk to you down the road.
Thank you so much, Jim.
All right, have a good night. Yes, sir.
All right.
Absolutely. All right, Griffith, ladies and gentlemen, from the city of Memphis. He is the Director of Youth Services. Big hiring event this Friday. Don't miss this. This is if you're looking for, if you're serious about looking for a job and an opportunity, please attend this event all day on Friday. Thank Ike for sharing that with us. We're going to take another break, and when we come back, we're going to talk to a young man who, has a real heart for young people. He's not that old a guy either, but he's going to chat with us about his mission to try to turn the young minds in this town into a positive direction. This is Real Talk Memphis. One more quick break. We'll be right back.
If you like Real Talk, here's a way you can get involved. Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
Hey, I'm Will from Crosstown Brewing Company. We support WYXR 91.7 FM. A favorite beer is just like a favorite song. We feel something new every time we encounter them. Cheers to playing the hits and tasting the notes.
At WYXR, we are committed to uplifting local organizations and businesses who are making an impact in Memphis. If you are looking for ways to spread the word about your business on air and want to support WYXR at the same time, email us at sponsorships@wyxr.org.
Hey, I'm Will from Crosstown Brewing Company.
WYXR is supported by Shell Days Music Festival, presented by Mempho. Do you want to place your company in front of Memphis cultural consumers and influencers? How about interacting with them in a meaningful way? WYXR's second annual stereo sessions at the Memphis Listening Lab is back. We are looking for sponsors to support WYXR's exploration of unsung albums from the musical history of Memphis. For more information, email us at sponsorships@wyxr.org.
WYXR doesn't go to sleep at night. We keep the music moving. Memphis music, that is. When our DJs clock out, our automation clocks in with music right from our community. Produced, performed, and written by Memphians, or in Memphis. Some are hits, and some are rarely heard, but they all tell the story of one of the world's greatest music cities. Visit WYXR.org for playlist and scheduling information. Email submissions@WYXR.org to let us hear your Memphis music. We may just play it.
Get Real Talk on the TuneIn mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to this Monday edition of Real Talk Memphis right here on 91.7 WYXR, Facebook Live, and we're kind of all over the place. And listen, we've had a conversation, and we've had more than one conversation about our youth and where many of them going in the wrong direction these days. Juvenile crime is up. We all know that. But there are many young people who are actually trying to do the right thing. And one of them is one I want to introduce right now, proud to introduce him. His name is LaDell Beamon, and he is the organizer. He's the president and CEO of Heal the Hood Foundation, which is his foundation. And LaDell, it is great to see you again. How are you doing tonight?
I'm really good. I'm blessed to be able to be heard, because I always consider you guys to be radio angels. So anytime there's an opportunity to be heard and do something positive, I'm here. So I feel good, Mr. Chip.
Well, I'm really happy to have you, and I've always admired your commitment to our young people. And I've talked to folks, and your name has been brought up several times about being very real and committed in terms of your organization. For people who don't know, tell them a little bit about the Heal the Hood Foundation that you created.
We always have a disclaimer, when people hear Heal the Hood, hood is a suffix is at the end of words like brotherhood, fatherhood, parenthood, sisterhood, brotherhood. Mm-hmm. Everybody, has a hood. And that's what literally contributes to the issues that go on in our neighborhoods, because we have a whole lot of parenthoods and motherhoods, brotherhoods and fatherhoods and sisterhoods that haven't been healed. So we basically use the arts and media science to actually tap into the nature of what's going on with a lot of our young people and even adults by offering various programs, tours, bringing in recording artists, mentoring, whatever it takes to really be able to drill in the effectiveness of change in our community and society. So that's what we're all about, change.
You have you've been doing this a while, and of course, you have a pretty strong connection with the community as a whole. How does it make you feel? You're a young man yourself, but how does it make you feel when you see the escalation of juvenile crime and a lot of the other negatives that we are dealing with on a daily basis? It's got to trouble you just a bit, I would imagine.
It can become, it can get you to the point where you really want to throw your hands up and surrender. But, I have to remember why, the why. And I think that's a huge thing, remembering your why, because there's been so many kids that have been out here in the city of Memphis that have turned around. And they were like at their midnight, they were at their 11:59 hour. And if we didn't hang in there to really be able to do something for those kids, they wouldn't have made it over to the next day. So we won more battles than we've lost, but it's very discouraging when you think about we have the resources to really be able to keep a lot of this from happening, and we're not utilizing the resources that we have within our own circle. So it could be discouraging a lot of times.
There was an event over the weekend, I believe it was Saturday. It was a youth town hall meeting that was held. It was sponsored by Justin Hart and the rapper NLE Choppa. And I'm to understand that this was really an event, the second annual from what I know, and I know you were a participant in this, to really connect with these young people, give them a safe space to be able to be free to talk about issues, some of the things that were concerning. What did you take away from this conference, the town hall meeting?
Yeah, you know what? I was very inspired, because a lot of times you hear the voices of the kids and to hear them being transparent about what's bothering them. And then with an NLE chopper, which I most definitely need to make sure that Justin connects you guys, because the thing is that NLE Chopper being 20 years old, it was refreshing to actually hear him state about what he wants to do with his music, about how he wants to, turn things around and just do things differently. And so when you hear a lot of young people that are coming up that are millennials that are saying that we recognize it's a problem and we want to do something about it, it liberated me, because now we're in agreement. It's that whole thing where 2 or 3 people come touching and agreeing, on one chord, stuff happens. And so I think that I left with a sense of unity. I left with a sense of urgency. And I also left with a sense of knowing that something is about to happen.
Yeah, I think in this young man, NLE Chopper, 20 years old, he is becoming I guess a big thing in the rap world. He knows he got a project coming out, but really, I'm really surprised, and pleasantly so, kind of like you, at the commitment of somebody this young to step out here and say, look, I'm a young person too, and we're all out here trying to make it. But really committing his time and his energy and his space to these young people to say, look, there is a better road. Look at me. Look at, many other people who are successful. And one thing I did take away from what happened on Saturday was that there were a lot of political folks. I saw 3 or 4 city council folks there and a lot of other community members. That had to make you feel good, because maybe they really wanted to find out what was going on with our young people. No?
Yeah. And, to be honest, I know they listen. And it was conversations that were happening even when we were on the panel that you heard J.B. Smiley, Ms. Rhonda Logan, all of them, just sitting there, Martavius Jones, talking about what they were hearing. And so I know for a fact that there was a takeaway, that they were taking notes and they were really ready and activated, because sometimes, and the things that I keep saying to people all the time, we apologize to the young people when we're touring in schools, doing our tours, and we always open up with an apology, because whatever state that our kids are in, it was because the adults left the door open for it to happen to these kids. And we just have to take responsibility. So I think there was a lot of accepting responsibility Saturday. And I think we can move once we start accepting responsibility.
That's the big thing, and I think that, at least for me, I'm a bit older, but, parents need to be parents to our young people. And I think a lot of things that I've heard have to do when young people talk, that they want people to listen to them. And I know you tour a lot of schools, you talk to a lot of young people out here. How big a deal is that they just want an ear? They want somebody to really listen and understand what they're dealing with and what they're going through.
It's a huge deal. It's for us, when we were coming up, I used to always hear children should be seen but not heard.
Yes.
Yeah. And the thing about it is, there were things that were going on, adverse childhood experiences that were happening, that if we were able to speak out earlier, we could have prevented a lot of travesties when we became adults. And there's a lot of damaged adults that, because their childhood was never healed, they're contributing to the problems now that's going on in the world. You got kids now that are, they're stealing cars, but there are adults that are actually giving them master keys and programming and a whole arsenal to be able to commit the crimes that they're doing. And so we as adults have to understand that the kids don't really want to do a lot of the stuff that they're doing, but at the same time, if I do something negative and I'm celebrated, just like with social media, they do something negative, they get 1 million likes. But if they do something positive, they only get a few likes. And so they're screaming out for attention, but you have to really know how to decipher through all of this stuff just to be able to hear what's being said, but not said.
That you used the term at the very beginning of what you just said, that is becoming more and more and more. I'm hearing it more and more and more, because it makes a lot of sense. Adverse childhood experiences. That is becoming really a big catchphrase because it's so true. And people are starting to focus in on that, are they not?
Yeah, absolutely. Because when you think about it, if a child is damaged, and really, our mantra with Heal the Hood and what we say all the time about what hood means, it is the essence of ACEs. If something happens in your childhood and is never healed, and you take it over to your adulthood that's never healed, you have a problem in your neighborhood. And so what we're looking at are issues that were never resolved when they should have. There's another term, a theory called the broken window theory. So you look at, communities when somebody breaks a window and then that abandoned building just stays there with a broken window, nobody fixes it. All of a sudden, people start devaluing that building, breaking other windows, doing all types of stuff to that building because nobody ever dealt with the issue that was never fixed. And so that's the problem that we're experiencing now, is that we are not dealing with, we're overlooking the issue that was never fixed. And sometimes as parents that, their issues were never fixed. And so now all of a sudden they ignore the issues that are being reproduced in their own children. And so that's what creates huge problems in our communities.
Before I let you get out of here, I just have one simple question for you. What is your prayer for our city as far as our young people are concerned?
It's wake up. It's about, us really opening our eyes. You hear a lot of people talking about they're woke and all this type of stuff. But I think something that NLE Chopper said that was really important, and it's echoing the words of Michael Jackson. We need to start with the man in the mirror and pay really close attention to what we're seeing and don't just walk away and forget what we saw. We need to wake up so we can deal with those realities, because that's the only way you're going to be able to live your dreams. It's the only way that you're going to be able to deal with the things that are happening to you. And so is to wake up and realize your reality so that you can face it. So let's wake up.
Let's wake up. LaDell Beamon, CEO and founder of the Heal the Hood Foundation. LaDell, man, I really love your spirit, and I love what you do and what you keep doing in this community, man. Keep up the fight, because we sure need folks like you. Thanks for coming on the show tonight, man. I really appreciate it more than you'll ever know.
Thank you, sir. I'm always humble, sir. Thank you.
All right, appreciate you. LaDell Beamon, ladies and gentlemen, that's a young man right there who understands. He gets it, and he understands it, and because he spends time. This is what he does, to try to heal these neighborhoods, and it starts with conversations with these young people. Adverse childhood experiences is a real thing. And it's a generational curse that happens, and we need to be able to break that curse in order to try to break through to our young people in order for us to be able to move forward. We're going to take a final break of the broadcast, and when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about your health on this Monday. This is Real Talk Memphis. We'll be right back.
If you like Real Talk, here's a way you can get involved. Do you have a show topic idea or suggestion? Want to be considered a guest or have a guest idea? Then send Chip a message on his Real Talk show page and you can be a part of the Real Talk experience. So as he always says, go out and tell somebody. We'll be right back.
Jazz Month at Crosstown Arts is bringing the versatile sounds of jazz to Crosstown Concourse this March. It's a month-long celebration of jazz, from the classic to the experimental, honoring a musical form with deep roots in Memphis. On Tuesday, March 21st, the Stax Music Academy celebrates Women's History Month with Songbirds, Women in Jazz in the Green Room at Crosstown Arts. On Wednesday, March 22nd, Michael Kelly presents the talk Memphis Jazz Through the Lens in the Memphis Listening Lab. Juilliard-trained singer, actress, and songwriter Morgan James returns to Memphis, where she recorded her Memphis Magnetic album, to perform in the Green Room on Saturday, March 25th. Sunday, March 26th brings the return of the much-vaunted Strictly Jazz series with the music of Bill Evans in the Green Room. Jazz Month at Crosstown Arts is sponsored by the Memphis Drum Shop and presented in partnership with Crosstown Arts, WYXR, and the Memphis Listening Lab. More announcements and tickets are available at crosstownarts.org.
WYXR doesn't go to sleep at night. We keep the music moving. Memphis music, that is. When our DJs clock out, our automation clocks in with music right from our community. Produced, performed, and written by Memphians, or in Memphis. Summer hits, and some are rarely heard, but they all tell the story of one of the world's greatest music cities. Visit WYXR.org for playlist and scheduling information. Email submissions@WYXR.org to let us hear your Memphis music. We may just play it.
You're listening, but are you in the know? The WYXR weekly newsletter is the best source for keeping up with events at WYXR, whether they are happening on our airwaves, behind the scenes, or out in the community. Log on to newsletter.wyxr.org to sign up for our mailing list and keep yourself in the loop.
Get Real Talk on the TuneIn mobile app under WYXR, and he's now streaming live on Facebook. And you can also catch a rebroadcast on YouTube. Just put WYXR in the search box and hit subscribe. Now back to more Real Talk with Chip Washington.
And welcome back to Real Talk Memphis on this Monday evening. As I mentioned at the top of the show, this month, March, is colon cancer awareness month. And if you didn't know or you weren't aware, it is the number 2 killer in this country after heart disease. And I wanted to get somebody on to talk a little bit about this and remind us how important it is for us to get our examinations. So we welcome Dr. Paul Johnson. He is a colorectal surgeon at the Methodist Cancer Institute. And Dr. Paul, it's good to see you. Thanks for coming on Real Talk. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
So talk to us a little bit about this. Obviously, you're very familiar with it, being a colorectal surgeon. But just in terms of numbers, where are we in this country in terms of folks who are dealing with some sort of, colon cancer or some sort of issue like that? And as I stated, was I correct in saying it was the number 2 killer in this country?
That's actually absolutely correct. So it's diagnosed number 3, but when you combine men and women, it's the number 2 killer in the U.S. In terms of how many people are diagnosed per year, it's upwards of 150,000. So it's not a small amount per year, and it disproportionately affects the African American community. So up to 20, we're diagnosed at 20% higher than our counterparts, and we die from the disease up to 40% more than our counterparts.
Wow, I did not. Wow, that's a staggering statistic. So why is that? What is that separation there? I mean, that's a lot of folks. And why is it more in terms of affecting us as a race versus other races?
So one is healthcare disparities. It's something that is rampant in our community where we're not presenting for care early enough. The other thing is there is some dietary components to it as well, which we can talk about, the things that put you at increased risk for colon cancer.
What are some of those things? I mean, we talk about that, and as you just clearly mentioned, diet does play a role in this.
Absolutely. So obesity plays a strong role. There's inflammation that occurs with having excess weight. Consumption or overconsumption of red meats, alcohol consumption at excess, as well as smoking habits. Or smoking is pretty much the worst thing you can do for any cancer. Every cancer that is in the body is associated with smoking. So if smoking is something that any of your listeners are struggling with, it's something that they really want to seek help for, because smoking is pretty much the worst thing you can do for your body.
So as you were talking, I was sitting here listening, and a lot of this, and I think you made reference to it, is really us not checking ourselves the way we do. But before you answer that question, the way we should, but before you answer that question, in terms of symptoms, symptomatic issues, are there symptoms that one may get that might lead them to the doctor in terms of this?
There are symptoms, but we want to make sure that we are recommending screening starting at age 45. And the reason I say that is because if you have symptoms of colon or rectal cancer, it's usually found in the late stage. So we don't, right. So it's colon cancer or colorectal cancer is usually what we call an asymptomatic disease until you get to those stages where it's really large. And then you'll start to get the abdominal pain. You might see bleeding from your rectum, or there might be changes in the shape or the color of your stool. So those things that we see are usually too late in terms of, not in terms of treatment, but it's not an early cancer anymore. And what we do know is that if you catch these cancers early, you have a 90% 5-year survival rate. But if you catch them really late, it drops down to if it's at the stage where it's spread everywhere, it's like 14% 5-year survival.
So you suggested that 45 is a year where you need to start to go get examined and go get checked for this. If you have the examination and it shows that everything is looking good and relatively clean, how far between appointments or checkups is that time frame?
It's a whole 10 years, and that gives you an idea of how long it takes from a polyp, and that's the benign little outgrowth in the colon or rectal wall that we can take out during the colonoscopy. It takes a long time for it to progress from that level to a cancer, and that's why we're able to say come every 10 years if there's no signs of anything that was concerning on your colonoscopy.
As time has moved along, technology has moved along as well. So what was once something that folks did not want to deal with because of the discomfort of it, medical technology has come a long way. Are we still as hesitant as a people, from what you see, are we still as hesitant as we once were to go and get a colon examination?
Unfortunately, yes. A lot of times, the most dreaded thing for most people is the prep, and that's where you had to drink a large volume of some fluid that was not very tasty. We've progressed. Now we have pills that you can take. You just drink lots of water with those pills, and you can prep that way. We also have smaller volumes. Still not great tasting, but at least you can get it down pretty quickly. And then there's other options like the one I give to my patients, which pretty much tastes like whatever you're mixing it with. So it's we've gotten better with making these preps more palatable. In terms of our community, we do have issues where we have machismo saying, oh, we don't want anybody back there. But what I tell my patients, especially my male patients who say that, I say, well, if you do have cancer, that's the first thing you're going to get is a colonoscopy, because we need to see we have to name it, to put a name to it, to say what kind of cancer it is. So you're going to get a colonoscopy, and it's better that you have gotten a colonoscopy as a prevention. And the adage that 1 ounce of prevention is better than cure is absolutely true when it comes to colon cancer.
Yeah, this is something that we don't really talk a lot about, as a society. But I mean, the number that you gave at the beginning was staggering to me in terms of just the disparity between the races and how much more susceptible. Now, and I think for me, the biggest takeaway from this is that we as a people are much more susceptible to getting colon cancer than anybody else on the planet. And that's something I'm sure that you spend a lot of time talking to folks about.
We do. And so it's important, especially when we recently lost one of our Black Panther, right, to colon cancer. True. So Chadwick Boseman recently died at a very young age. And unfortunately, that's the trend that we're starting to see as well, where once it was 9 out of 10 people were being diagnosed and they were over the age of 50. Now, 1 in 5 of diagnoses are under age 55. So there's been a shift in terms of what ages we're now seeing colon cancers being diagnosed.
Well, listen, man, I want to thank you for coming on the show tonight and giving us some really solid information and, letting folks know that this is nothing to play with. This is a very serious situation or can get a whole lot more serious if we don't take the necessary precautions. Dr. Paul Johnson, colorectal surgeon from the Methodist Cancer Institute. Thank you, Paul, for coming on the show. I really appreciate it.
No problem. My pleasure.
All right, take care. That was good information, ladies and gentlemen. And I hope that if you are one of those hesitant folks, you take and heed his advice and go get looked at and go get checked. Great show tonight. Excellent information from all of our guests. I want to thank Griffith, LaDell Beamon, and, of course, Dr. Paul Johnson. And, I'm looking around. Somebody asked me the other day, about my crew. And, I mentioned them, a lot on this show because they help me steer and guide this thing. And Brent is he's our latest addition, and he's on the board tonight doing a really good job. And, of course, you all know Nicole. Nicole hosts the show here on Friday nights at midnight, taking you into early Saturday morning called Planet Chrome. And she's been on a few weeks, and thumbs up. Everything's going good. Everything's going well. Of course, Lola is our DJ, but she's also a radio host. She's just satellite. How many satellite shows do you have? 3. She's sitting up. She's on her phone. She's like 3. It's like maybe it's more or less. I don't know whatever. They're very very talented folks, and I thank them all the time for what they do. Let me do a quick Facebook Live roll call here. Michael Harris is on. Samantha D is what I call her. She's on here as well. Jet Lucas checking us out. My sister Cheryl Lewis, Audrey Hill, Rachel Johnson, Brett Thompson checking us out tonight as well. A lot of folks on here. I thought Tamara Rhodes is here as well. Listen, Alan Crone, I think, was on here earlier. I don't know if he's still on here, but thank you all for checking us out. And listen, as I say all the time, if you like what we do, as Brent plays us out, let people know about Real Talk Memphis. We aim to please here each and every Monday evening from 6 to 7 p.m. Central, depending on where you are catching us. Again, like, follow, share, subscribe to our program, to my page. Send me show ideas, guest suggestions, the whole 9 yards. I'm open to all of them. Most importantly, thank you. We appreciate it very, very much. So for Brent, for Nicole, for Lola, and for Chip, thank you for being here. We are out. See you next week.
It's real.